Hi everybody, my name is Julie and this video I'm going to be talking about giving you tips on job interviews. And so you're going to love this video if you're about to have a job interview. So you're going to love this. I am writer and director of the indie nerdy comedy mumblecore nerdcore movie Geek Loves Punk. You're going to love this video. Welcome to the Julie Show. Okay, hi everybody. Okay, so I did a video that caught the algorithm. It's still riding that algorithm wave. It's called What Color's Your Parachute? So I'll link to that video. I made another video. There's this book, What Color's Your Parachute? You can see it says 2020 because I've been happily employed since 2020. So, I've had a job. I've been working jobs since I was 16 and I'm now 42 years old. But this book, I highly recommend this book, What Color's Your Parachute? This book changed the bottom line for me. I started getting quote unquote better jobs once I read this book. And this book gives really, really good advice on how to get a job and the art of getting a job. It's actually, I think this is one of the greatest books ever written ever. Legit. Better than Moby Dick. Sorry, Moby Dick, but it's anyway, I don't know. It's a really good book on how to get a job. When I got out of college, I didn't know like how to get a job, like the logistics of how to get a job. So I really recommend this book. Anyone out there looking for a job? Okay. So someone left a comment on my video saying like shout out to that person, and someone left a comment saying hey, I something like I got that book in the 1980s, something like that. Yeah, the book's been around for a while. They update it every year because they're keeping up with the job market. So I want to give advice on what to do in a job interview. The reason why I want to do that is because I worked in healthcare for about 10 years. Oh, I was a recruiter for a couple of years where I would interview people to work for a company. I would interview caregivers to work for a caregiving company because I was a caregiver for many years. So, I was a caregiver and then I made it into administrative recruiting type job, and then from there I don't work in healthcare anymore. But so okay, here's my tips on how to do job interviews because I've conducted a lot of job interviews, and and I can say as the recruiter, like I wanted to hire people. I wasn't the one paying their checks. The owner of the company was the one signing their checks, you know. But what I meant as a recruiter, what I mean by that, as a recruiter, I was always rooting for the job interview person to succeed, to do well. I wanted to hire people. I wanted to provide jobs to them, that kind of thing. So with that, I saw when it's because sometimes I was just the one interviewing. I had a manager who she made the final decision, and the owner of the company also made the final decision. So sometimes the person doing the job interview, they wouldn't quite get it right, and then my manager wouldn't want to hire them. So with that, I want to give some tips to you guys because I want you to get hired. I want you to get employed. That way you're getting money, and because you need money to buy food and pay for housing. Okay, so the first thing I want to say is this book. I recommend this book, and there's a chapter in this book about job interviews, and I would highly recommend reading the chapter on job interviews and how to conduct yourself during a job interview. Okay, the first thing I want to say is there's this question that sometimes we would ask, and the question was, do you have any flaws? Is there anything you think you should work on? And what I want to say to you is you do not have flaws in a job interview. So put your best foot forward. It's cheesy, but this is how I would answer that question as someone who's also been on job interviews trying to get hired. You don't have flaws in a job interview. You're definitely putting your best foot forward. So for example, when I would get that question, what flaws do you have? What do you think you could improve on? That's kind of a trick question. They're trying to get you to sort of tell on yourself. Don't fall for it. So, okay, so when they ask you that question, what do you think you should work on? It's a trick question. So this is how I would answer it. And even if it is cheesy, it worked. I got hired. So this is how I would answer that question. I'd be like, what are my flaws? I would say, I care too much. Or I'd say I'm too punctual. I get to places early. And, or I would say I'm too productive. I'd say stuff like that because, you don't have flaws in a job interview. So you just don't. So like, say something like that. Find something as chill. If you're going to say something negative about yourself, don't do that in a job interview, but find the most chill thing ever. So I was like, I just care too much. My flaw is that I care too much about the job and what I'm doing. And the guy who interviewed me, one interview, he's like, oh, come on. Because, he was saying it was kind of cheesy. But guess what? He sure did offer me the job. So it worked. So, and to be honest, I am a good hire. So am I perfect? No. Sometimes I'm a little late, that kind of thing. But, you don't have flaws in a job interview. The second thing I would say is dress professional. Now, technically, I'm wearing like a bright pink shirt. So I would not wear this on a job interview, but I am wearing like a black blazer. So I got this on sale at like Dillard's or one of those department stores. Okay, so here's the thing about dressing professional. Okay. So I come from small town Virginia and I moved out here to the Bay Area. In my opinion, it's really snooty in the Bay Area, so it's like snooty upper middle class people. There's nice people here too, but there's definitely the snooty element. Okay, here's the deal. So for job interview, I would dress kind of country. So I would dress professional, but one time for a job interview, I was wearing blue pants. They were like professional blue pants, but they were blue. And I was wearing like this like shirt with flowers on it. It's like a flower pattern. I basically look kind of Southern, you know what I mean? Not bad Southern, I'm not racist. So you know what I mean? Like, not all hillbillies are bad people. So, they're just people who grow up in small towns and are kind of country, but countrified is the term. But anyway, so I look kind of Southern, but not in a bad way. So, but I was wearing blue pants and like flowery shirt with a flower pattern. And I did an interview as a suburb of the Bay Area. So this woman, I remember this woman looked me up and down and she looked disgusted. And at the time I didn't realize how snooty and horrible the Bay Area is sometimes. So anyway, she did not like hillbillies. This is a white lady, by the way. Also, again, I'm not racist, so whatever stereotype she had of hillbillies, this lady was not a nice lady. She did not like me at all. I had a country accent. I looked like a hillbilly. She didn't like me. Anyway, whatever. So what I learned in the Bay Area was that some people here suck. And the other thing I learned was, okay, if you want to play it safe in case you're going to be interviewed by a snooty son of a bitch. So if you want to, here's what you want to do. Luckily now my day job, I work for really nice people and they're not snooty assholes. But Okay, so let's say you're gonna do a job interview and the person interviewing you might be kind of snooty. So if you want to play it safe, like I would say wear all black. So I have a black blazer. I have like this black, kind of like frilly, lacy, but it's professional shirt, and then I wear black slacks, and like that's the safest way to play it in a job interview. God forbid you wear something with a bit of color in it. Anyway, so to play it safe for job interviews, dress professional, and if you wear all black, it's a safe way to go in job interviews as far as looking professional. Okay. Okay, so dress professional. And the last thing I want to say, if you're going to do a job interview, just play up what you're good at. Like, play up what you're good at. And just remember that you're a good hire, you're employable, you're a good person. So just accentuate the stuff that you're good at. Make eye contact, not too much. Smile a little, not too much. Give compliments, but not too much. At least one compliment. Like one time I got interviewed and the guy had a picture, it was a painting of fish on his wall. And I was just like, hey, cool picture that's a cool picture of fish. You know, I was being sincere. It was this really cool painting of fish. And I was totally being sincere too. I wasn't being fake. And he was like, thanks. Apparently he really loves to go fishing. So he was a really great guy. He hired me. So, I mean, also I had the skill set he was looking for. But yeah, try to find sincere compliments to give and that kind of thing. Okay, so those are my tips. Just, you don't have flaws in a job interview, dress professional, and play up what you're good at. And okay, two more antidotes. One time I was doing a job interview. When you do a job interview, research the company and try to find a couple of things that you like about the company. So if they're gonna ask you like, why do you want to work here? And the obvious answer is you need money to buy food and housing. You know what I mean? Like duh. But what they're just asking you to just find something about the company you like just say like, oh, you guys have a really cool logo, or just find something, you know what I mean? Like some sort of enthusiasm. And then, so anyway, I was being interviewed. It was administrative assistant towards a extermination company. They kill bugs. And this guy was so cool who interviewed me. It was Zoom. And it's going to be awkward. I'm just going to say he was Latino. I don't know, just to give you a visual that's accurate. He was a really cool guy. And he was interviewing me, and I was doing the whole spiel. I was like, I'd be so dedicated to this company, and and he in the middle of my spiel, he goes, hey, you don't have to do that. I was like, what? He's like, you don't have to do the whole schmoozing thing. He's like, if you show up and do the job, we'll give you money. It's cool. You don't have to do, And I was like, oh. You know what I mean? I don't know. And it's like, yeah, I was kissing ass a little, because that's what you do. In a job interview, you kiss a little ass. And he was just like, he was basically saying like, look, you don't have to kiss ass. You're fine. Like, you're good. Yeah. So, and he also was like, hey, if you have a side hustle, everyone in California has a side hustle. They have their day job, and then they have the thing that they really want to do. You know what I'm saying? Everyone has a dream, right? So everyone's on the side following their dreams. So, anyway, he's like, if you have a side hustle, that's totally fine. You can work on it on your lunch break. Just don't work on it during work hours. And I was like, how do you know I have a side hustle? Because I never talk about being a filmmaker on my day job, on job interviews. That's the dream, right? You don't talk about your dreams in a job interview. You're not there to dream. You're there to get hired and do work for them. Okay, so you should have dreams, just not on job interviews. Okay, and so then Yeah, so anyway, but yeah, you just want to get hired. You need a day job to buy stuff and pay rent so that you can follow your dreams on the weekends and weeknights. Okay, so, but yeah, I'm lucky. I have a day job. I like my day job, so I'm just lucky that I have that. Honestly, it took me years in the Bay Area to find, like, the right fit. So that's just how the cookie crumbles. Okay, so those are my tips. Oh, my other antidote was I was in a job interview where I was schmoozing. I schmooze on job interviews, but I do it sincerely, you know, because you want to be professional. So I was like, I said to him, I was like, I was getting hired to be a recruiter, and I was like, oh, and I can bring you coffee if you need coffee. And to give this guy credit, he was older than me. He was like maybe in his 50s. He looks at me like he's offended. Like, this is a straight white guy, like a really nice straight white guy. I was like, oh, and I can bring you coffee. And then he looks at me and he's like, he looks offended and he's like, I can get my own coffee. And it was just kind of cool. Like, he was kind of being feminist. He's like, don't, because I was going to be hired to be a recruiter, but still, like, I can bring him coffee. It's a small office. But he was, like, completely offended. He's like, you don't have to bring me coffee, like, no, just be a recruiter. That was awesome. It was awesome. He's one of the best bosses I've ever had, like, legit. Okay, so those are my antidotes. To anyone out there trying to, you know, I hope you get hired. Do the job interviews, do the schmoozing, do the thing. It is what it is. And I hope you get a great job, and you deserve, you're employable, you're awesome, you're amazing, and you deserve to have an amazing job. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I love you all. Happy job hunting. And yes. Okay, bye. One last thing. When I used to do job interviews, people, I would ask them questions, and it was a job where you had to have a driver's, part of the job is you kind of had to have a driver's license. And I would ask people, oh, do you have a driver's license? And they would say, in the job interview, they would say, no, I don't have a driver's license. And then they would say, but I drove here anyway. And okay, so here's the deal. That wouldn't bother me, because I know, like, renewing your driver's license and registration, that can be kind of expensive. That can be like, I think that can be like $100 altogether. So, like, maybe you don't have the cash, but anyway, it wouldn't bother me when they would say that. I would just say, I was like, you know, before you start working, you'd have to get that driver's license. But when they would say on the job interview, like, but I drove here anyway, when they would talk about driving without a driver's license, that wouldn't offend me. But when I told my manager, I had to tell my manager, because that was my job. So I know I was snitching, but I had to tell my manager. So, you know, to keep my job. So I would tell my manager, oh, they say they drive without a driver's license. Just to let you know, technically driving without a driver's license, that's technically against the law. It's illegal. So you're basically telling someone on a job interview that you did something illegal. So if you're broke, you don't have any cash, and you drove to a job interview without a driver's license, don't tell the recruiter. Don't tell them. They don't need to know that. Just get your driver's license renewed by the time you start working. That's all. Don't tell people that on a job interview, like, because my manager, she was a nice lady, but she could be a little uptight. She didn't understand people being broke or being low on cash, so, but she was a nice lady. But when I would say that, oh, they drove without a driver's license, she would go, she would get really freaked out. When really it's just like they were low on cash, and you know what I mean? So, yeah. So don't, if you drive without a driver's license, don't tell the recruiter. Just don't tell them, that's all. And get your license renewed and registration as soon as possible. Because I want you to get hired so that you can get money and you can buy stuff and food and housing and all that kind of stuff. Alright, thanks so much for watching. I love you much. I'm rooting for you to get hired and get a job and get that cash and all the things. Alright, thanks so much for watching. I'll talk to you later. Bye!